Healthy men love single moms, and I'll tell you why.
Why?
For one, a healthy man that's looking for a committed relationship that goes to marriage knows that a single mom already has a lot of the qualities that they look for.
Ladies, today on this video, we're going to go through why healthy men love dating single mamas and how to actually navigate rotational dating as a single mom. And just so y'all know, I was a single mom with 4 kids when we started dating. So I'm going to share some of my secret tips to speed up the process and make it so it's not overwhelming. It's super fun. And you attract the exact type of man you are calling in as a husband, a provider husband, and a bonus dad. Let's get into it. And for those lovely ladies that are new here, what's up? I'm Natasha.
And I'm Brian.
I was a former single mom with 4 kids, went through a whole bunch of trauma and loss. If you're interested in learning more about dating and relationships and feeling good in your body again, I'm talking your hormones, your nervous system, all of that.
Click the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our videos and content.
Why would a guy want to date a single mom anyway, especially as a bachelor? He was a bachelor.
Well, I'll tell you why.
Okay, tell the ladies.
Healthy men really love single moms. He already knows she has so many of the qualities that he's looking for, right? So she has a responsibility of taking care of her kids. So right then and there, she's not always out moving around, but she's more settled in her life, a healthy woman, right? A healthy single mom.
Yeah.
And also the qualities of just being able to take care of the home in a sense, right? So the kids need to eat, they need to go to school. And a lot of these traits, when we get with them, we're able to help, but we know that they're more focused, right? They're not all over the place, right? They may have a job, a business, but their focus is making sure things are in order in their house, right? So that makes it easy instead of a lot of times being a bachelor, like I used to be, when you're dating a woman who's single, she's just enjoying her life, no kids, no responsibility. That part of it is a big adjustment when they get into a relationship, the responsibility part, because they're so used to doing what they desire to do. Now, that's not a bad thing, but someone who's settled and ready to move forward, we want someone who's in the mode of being a wife, being able to take care of the home while we're out, taking care of business, working, doing things for the business. And the single mom already comes with that. So we don't have to kind of wonder if they have that part in their arsenal, right? If they're used to doing that.
Yes.
So that makes the adjustment easy off top.
Oh, so good. Okay, ladies, let me unpack this for you and give you the reasons why men love single moms, and especially healthy single moms. I'm going to also tell you what you need to do to navigate dating, because single moms, if you have not done any inner work or inner healing, there's a lot of baggage that can come with a single mom too that you have to get rid of. Otherwise, it will destroy and repel a healthy masculine man. They will run away from you. Okay. So first of all, it's exactly what he's talking about. Moms, typically, you have to be embodied in that nurturing, loving energy, right? So that's the big thing. And that is super attractive to men, healthy men. And we're not saying you need to be in that energy all the time. Like, you do not want to stay in your mothering energy when it comes to your man, which is what I teach the girls in the Feminine Energy Academy, because a lot of times single moms can be very much in their masculine energy, used to taking care of everybody. And if you get stuck in that mode, that's why you attract men that you need to mother. And we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is he's observing the fact that she knows how to be very nurturing and loving and not always so self-centered. Okay, definitely. So that is very attractive to a man. Now, once again, you're not always in that place, but you exhibit those qualities, right? As a loving mom, and which is very much, a wife quality as well. The other thing too, in my experience, the number one thing masculine energy needs is appreciation. That is like the food for masculine energy is appreciation, right? Even the divine masculine God, we come to him with thanksgiving, right? So in their nature, coming to them with thanksgiving and just appreciation, they'll do anything for you. Typically with single moms, and I know I was like this man did the smallest thing for me and I'm like in tears with gratitude and appreciation. So typically that's a lot of single moms. A lot of single moms, the number one thing we want is we just want help. We just want help,
Yeah.
you know? And so that's why a man comes in, he's like a knight in shining armor, really. He comes in and he helps. He's playing with the kids. He's taking you out on dates. He's helping you with bills. He's helping you with, just providing, just taking every day. He's like looking to take things off of your shoulders. You are going to be so appreciative of that man in your life. And that's like what you're saying. Nowadays, a lot of women are in entitlement energy, men and women, right? It's not just women. But there's a lot of women right now that are super in this entitlement energy of like, you need to do this for me, you need to do this for me, you need to do this for me. Like, I'm so particular about this, this, and this, and this. And it's okay to be particular. It's okay to have high standards. But if you are not showing appreciation and you just kind of have this attitude of, well, you need to do this, this, and this, and this for me, that's a turnoff for a lot of men. Brian's talked about this in some other videos. Men will go for a woman that's not necessarily a 10 out of 10 Barbie doll, maybe a 6 or 7, but this woman is so embodied in that feminine energy qualities of being appreciative, being so just thankful for the little things, being in her nurturing, loving energy and that wife energy. They will go for that all day, every day versus, the entitlement girl that's a 10 out of 10.
And I think you put it so well.
Thanks, baby.
As I was explaining it, but really that appreciation is so key. And personally for me, I haven't dated, single mothers. So it wasn't something, the appreciation wasn't something that I was expecting. Right. So I didn't come in like, okay, I'm going to do this and she's going to really love it.
Yeah. You don't realize.
No, you don't realize it. And you don't realize the difference, right? Between dating someone who may be more about the entitlement and then a single mother who's more appreciative because of what she has on her plate. And you're able to help just in a relationship, you're just able to help take things off her plate. And how that makes you feel as a man, you're able to bring that, you're able to bring that energy. You're able to just help. And now she's free to just relax, enjoy herself, and just taking those things off her plate. You're able to do stuff with the kids as the relationship grows. But the appreciation that comes from that is really something that most men don't see in relationships. Maybe. And a lot of times at all, because sometimes when we date, when you date women that have a lot going on, may have a great job, live in a nice area, it's like, what can you do for me?
Yes.
Right. And that,
can you match me?
Yeah. And, and we don't care about matching you or all of that. That doesn't matter to us. No. But that's the energy of the relationship. And now it becomes less about appreciating each other and more about what can you do for me.
So good, baby. Like, you have to understand, ladies, at the core of a masculine energy man, they need to feel needed. They need to feel appreciated. They need to feel on purpose. Think of that sperm. They need something to chase. They feel good in their masculinity when they're providing. Even if that's not what you're getting right now, that's okay. That's what is at the core of a man. That's what they desire. That's how God's made them. Okay, so let's talk about some tips, because I know a lot of ladies are like, how do you even date as a single mom? Because I already know you're probably feeling super overwhelmed and exhausted. You can't even think about rotationally dating, for example, right? And this was me. Okay, so here's some tips for you ladies that are so, so important. First of all, is you need to decide that you are ready to receive your husband. Okay, you cannot be in this wobbly energy of I should date, I want to date, or once a guy comes in, then I'll change, or once a guy comes in, then I'll be in my feminine energy. Like, no, babe, you got to take that personal responsibility and decide you are ready to call in your husband. Now, you're not going to feel completely ready. That's the thing. And this is what I realized in myself. It was a form of self-sabotage of I'll do it eventually. Because you're like, oh, I don't want to have to go through this dating process, right? I get it, babe. I get it. But you have to really look at, okay, why am I doing this? Who am I calling in? So for me, and this is what I teach my girls in my Feminine Energy Academy, to be super clear in your energy. So I knew exactly who I was calling in. as a husband and a father. And one of the biggest tips I can give you, mamas, single mamas, is involve your kids.
Yeah.
So I'm so glad I did this. Is something I learned, is helping them feel like they're part of the process, right? So I went to my kids and I was like, okay, guys, what's really important for you in a bonus dad? Because if you involve them in the decision making, you're going to get less pushback from them, right? Which was something that I was really concerned about. Obviously, they had lost their dad, and they literally wanted me to be single until they moved out, which I don't recommend you doing, because kids need a healthy masculine father in their life, a bonus dad, stepdad. They need to have that in their life, right? It changes everything for them. So anyway, I was like, okay, guys, what's important to you? They told me what was really important to them. I'm like, okay. So, just so you know, mommy is going to start dating for marriage. I was very clear with them. I told them what that looked like. I told them, why is this important? We talked about how this is God's purpose for us to have a family unit, and, how God is redeemer. I went into all that stuff in their language, right? So even though they were resistant, they were like, okay, mom. And the other thing too, if you're getting pushback from your kids, is ask them, like, do you think mommy should do all this by herself? You see how hard mommy works. Most kids, all my kids anyway, and even though my kids were super resistant, they're like, no, mommy, we want you to have help. It was hard for them to watch me a lot of times work so hard. And they try to step up and everything too, but it's not their responsibility, right? So getting them on the same page is going to help you a lot. So now let's go into like the logistics of it. So first, it's all about the energy. Get your energy clear and what you're calling in. Now the practical stuff. One is you need to be so intentional with your time. So I teach rotational dating because we're not about wasting our time. We're not going to, be stuck in situationships or date guys that don't know if they want to be married, right? We're not doing none of that. So let's assume you've done your inner work. You've done all the stuff I've been teaching in Feminine Energy Academy, and you're a catch, okay? And then you enter the dating scene. Online, offline, doesn't matter. So with rotational dating, you don't have to pick like 5 guys that you want to start talking to. You can talk to just maybe a couple of guys. And this is important so all your energy is not on one guy. And it really weeds out the guys that are not serious about you. And it brings in the guys that are ready for marriage, which there is men out there, trust me. Go watch our other videos on that. Once you start talking to different guys, I won't get into those strategies here. You just have to be super strict with your boundaries and the time that you're giving to these different guys. So healthy boundaries would be like, you're not having texting relationships with guys. They're organizing the dates. You're super intentional right from the beginning, like I was with you. I'm dating for marriage, and right away, if they're like, yeah, I'm dating for marriage too, awesome. You keep it super light and fun, okay? You block out the time that you can to date, but you have to prioritize it, okay? So it could be once a week. It could be a couple times a week. That's why I'm a fan of coffee dates. I know that that's controversial for a lot of people. When you're busy, like I was, 4 kids running businesses, I'm not spending 3-hour dates on people that I don't know. I'm not going to waste my time. Quick coffee dates. If there's a connection, then you can continue dating other guys.
Logistically, because I know a lot of women ask this.
Yes.
As far as, being a single mom.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go on the date site. They can follow everything, and line everything up. You can rotationally date and talk to a few people. But when it's time to go out, who's going to watch the kids, right? That's a lot of the questions that the women have. And, men and women, we can look at it in whatever way. And a lot of women, unfortunately, look like, well, I can't do it. So they just stop right there. So what is your advice?
I got tips.
What is your advice? What tips do you have for the women that want to go out on dates but don't have a babysitter?
I have a couple scenarios for you, okay? First of all, if the babysitting is an issue, which it is for single moms, tag team with another single girl. So one of my girls, who's now married also, she was also single at the time. She was a single mom. I was a single mom, and we tag teamed, right? So like she was like one of my good friends that actually would watch the kids for me.
Nice.
And I mean, even when we went out, right?
Right.
There was times where I would watch her son
Yeah.
while she was needed to do what she needed to do. So tag team with another mom is a great way to do this. You're going to people that you care about and be like, hey, I'm dating for marriage, and you're serious about it, and people can see that you're serious about it. You're not just fooling around going to the bar.
Yeah.
A lot of people will support you in this. At the very least, a single mom will definitely support you. The other thing I was going to say too, with men, a lot of times men will offer to pay for a babysitter, but don't just date a guy for that reason.
Yeah.
Make sure it's somebody that you actually want to date. That might not necessarily happen if he's never met you before and doesn't know who you are. So don't just like, well, you need to pay for my babysitter.
Exactly.
Like, don't come with that entitlement energy,
Yes.
babe. I'm talking about if the guy knows you and knows that that's an obstacle, why he can't see you, he will do whatever it takes so your time is free. That's been my experience. What do you think,
that's
baby?
definitely the case, especially the first meeting.
Yeah.
We all go on so many first dates, right? So just the understanding of this is his first time meeting me. He may not pay for my babysitter because he doesn't know me. He doesn't know much about me at all.
Yeah.
Right. We just really want to get to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
So not having that expectation, but being grateful if he decides to do that.
Yeah.
And also being clear with him because I've seen this as well, if you're bringing your child, right? Which I don't suggest.
Yes.
Meeting the child on the first date.
Unless you talked about it.
Right. Unless this is something you talked about, unless you've been, maybe FaceTiming each other for a while and he's met the child. I don't suggest the first time you guys meet.
Yeah, not the first
or
time.
the first date you have to bring the child. So if it just doesn't work, just let him know, like, it doesn't work this week. I just can't find a babysitter, and see what his response is. But leave the child out of it initially until you're comfortable. You're committed to a certain level where you can trust him, knowing how your child looks, knowing, especially if you have a girl.
Yes.
Right. We don't want to expose and have the children go through meeting all these different men.
Oh, so good.
So
babe.
really make sure, if it doesn't work out, it may just be bad timing. It may not be the right person. If you can't find a babysitter, if he's not able to help you find one, if you don't have a friend that can help. But dating is fun and exciting, but your child is most important in those situations.
100%. I'm so glad you said that, honey.
Yeah.
I understand if you're not, like, none of us are perfect, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you haven't done things the greatest way, there's no shame, baby, okay? But this was something that I was so conscious of, was protecting the kids.
Yes.
And because of what I was exposed to really young, it really affected me growing up. So for my kids, I'm like, I do not want my kids exposed to mom dating a bunch of guys, right? And so because they're watching your every move, right? And like, that's going to affect their relationships moving forward, right? This is why us moms have to make really wise decisions when we're dating. And so what I did, like, once again, involving the kids, right? They knew right away, like, mommy is like, you're not doing any married stuff until you're married, no sleepovers, stuff like that. And then also, once I was serious with Brian, like, we were dating for marriage. He was moving. He moved to the country I was in. We were not quite engaged yet, but that was literally what we were about to do. We were basically planning to get engaged, right? Like, that's how serious we were. That's when I introduced him to the kids. And actually, at the beginning, you did meet the kids, but he met them from a coaching perspective, which was really helpful. So this is something that you can do if there's a guy that you're kind of interested in, like you can see yourself being with this person. You're not putting that pressure like you're getting married or anything, but he's at the top of your list, right? And you want to see how the kids are with him or how he's with the kids. Do something fun and safe. That is probably the biggest thing that you can do, is just do fun things with the guy, okay? And kind of see how they react. That's how we were at the beginning, I should say that, before we officially started, like, okay, we're gonna get married
Yeah.
type dating. You did meet the kids from a coach's perspective.
Yeah.
My kids love basketball. They were super guarded, obviously. They had never seen mom date anybody. They had only seen me with their dad. And so Brian came in as a coach just to help. And so instantly there was respect there. And it gave them a chance to just get to know him as a coach, and him, to get to know them. They were able to develop that bond with each other. And then we told them, okay, this is what we're doing. We're planning on getting married. And we actually involved a counselor because my kids, they went through a lot of trauma losing their dad. So I did involve a counselor just to help us. I just wanted to make sure we're doing things the right way with the kids and not creating more trauma for them. I'm not saying you need to do that. It just depends on what your kids have been through, right? We literally just needed like 3 sessions and they were good. And the biggest thing that the counselor told us is they just need to develop the bond through play, through eating, through moving around, having fun together. And that's all we did. He wasn't staying with us, having fun with us. We were eating together. They're playing basketball. They were training. They really developed that bond that way. And then when it was time to get engaged, which was just a few months after that, he involved them in the whole engagement process. So they felt like they were a part of the process the whole time.
Yeah. So it really just comes down to being super intentional.
Yes.
Being clear in what you desire and just following a few steps, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to overthink it.
No.
It doesn't have to be complicated. Using these tools and following these steps, and it allows you to either make a decision that this is the person potentially, or this may not be the person, and you can move on. And that's the advantage of the rotational dating and having strategies.
Yes, exactly. We have so many testimonials. Just look at my pages of people that also rotationally dated, and the guy took them seriously and now they're married, right? So have strategy. It's something that we get into way more in the Feminine Energy Academy. We have a dating for marriage program. We have a rotational dating program. I also teach you how to date guys internationally. We were in different countries. Talk about how to act on a date and while you're dating, and how to be in your feminine energy, because none of this stuff is going to work that we're talking about if you're super wounded, super triggered, triggered in your nervous system, self-sabotaging, have man blocks. You're going to keep attracting the wrong guys, or you're just not going to be able to activate his masculine energy, because you might be in a relationship right now and there's just a few things you might need to do to kind of activate that so he steps up and is ready for marriage and to provide for you.
So much more to cover, really. Trust me, the guys make adjustments, even though we don't always know what we want. Right? When you come in your feminine and we see this, we make adjustments and we do what we have to do.
Actually, let us know in the comments what you think and share this with the single mom that could use some encouragement right now. Okay, love you guys.